Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with
Anthony Sinanders.
Yes, and that was our Gotham opening. It has nothing to do with Gotham, but it gets us pumped, because honestly, Gotham is pump-worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, all seriousness though, Gotham, as a show is a lot better than I ever thought it would be.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's like the best thing ever made, but it's a lot better than I thought it would be. And, it's a very interesting take on, the early Batman mythos, before Batman was even Batman. But anyway, before we go into our show, first off, hi, every listener, every new listener. We might have some new listeners, Anthony. Yeah, hello. Happy to have you listening. You might like our opinions. You might dislike them. You might think we're complete idiots. Hopefully you do. Hopefully you feel so passionate that you want to call in and tell us, hey, you're stupid. Because the number to call in is 718-664-9468. Or if you think, darn, I can't stay on for the entire hour, using my internet, or one of my friends wants to listen in, but, they can't get on the internet, that's fine. You can use our call-in number, 718-664-9468, to listen in. So if you call that number and you don't press 1 when asked, you'll be left in the listener section, and we can leave you in there for, the entire show. And if you think, I want to talk to them, you push 1, we'll put you into the talking section, we'll get a little notification, and, we'll talk about the show, whatever you wanted to talk about, and then we'll put you back in the listener section if you want to, and yeah, so remember that. Please, hate us, or love us, and say, hey, those guys doing pretty good. And that would be nice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we have ourselves a Pokemon giveaway. Now, personally, I don't know much about the Pokemans. I know a lot about it, but mostly the earlier gens. I just recently got Pokemon X myself. However, right, we're giving you 6 shiny Pokemon. Really good Pokemon, by the way, if you are into competitive battling. And if you think, well, Matt, you're being very vague here, well, then go to our website, thoseguysonthe.radio.tumblr.com, and if you go on there, you'll see all the rules and regulations, and you'll see that 2 Pokemon will be awarded to you depending on how you win. And you can win via looking at our, you either reblogged our Tumblr post, and you follow us on Tumblr, or you follow us on, you like our Facebook, and you share the Facebook post, or you go on our, which by the way is Those Guys on the Radio, or you go on our Twitter, Those Guys Radio, and you follow us on Twitter. All this lingo. You follow us on Twitter, and you retweet the Pokemon tweet. Now again, wanting to know more info about the specific Pokemon and how, but mind you, they're all Halloween shinies. I know there's 2 Chandelures and a bunch of other Pokemon names that I don't know. But you can know by going on thoseguysonthe.radio.tumblr.com, and you'll be able to enter there. And again, free shiny giveaway. If you enjoy shinies, if you enjoy very Halloween-themed shinies, and if you need them for competitive battling, we have them for you. Usual co-host Tish Ram, very into battling competitively, so he understands your competitive battling needs. So yeah, hey, free Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the show. Gotham is good.
Incredibly so.
Good night, everyone. But how did you feel about episode 2? Now that we're going in order, because today, despite the title, right, the fact that I changed the title, but Blog Talk Radio still wants to make the preview only about episode 2. Today we're doing episodes 2 and 3. So starting off with 2, how did you feel about the episode? Because for me personally, I feel like it started off weird.
Mhm. What exactly made you feel that way, though?
The interpretation of Alfred in the beginning of that episode.
Mhm.
I don't know. Just something about it, it felt weird, and then it just didn't. I really can't explain exactly, but I feel like it's the idea that, at first, in the beginning of that episode, and of course in the last episode, Alfred has been very rough around the edges and a bit too much. Now, I know in the future is where we get this really nice, calm, and witty Alfred, but still, it feels like it's like a day and night change from the way he's been written.
I definitely agree there, but I think the reason that, I don't know, see, the thing with episode 2 for me, the reason I don't really, I didn't pay much attention to that is because I actually loved the story of the Dollmaker. I loved the whole thing that was with that. I love those 2. I don't remember the names or if they even gave names, but the man and the woman that were, kidnapping the kids for him. I thought
I agree. Well, that's why that's why I said the beginning of the episode, because as the episode went on, I became extremely, a lot more interested. And then, 2 and 3, complement each other very well.
Absolutely.
And, so I will admit, yes, I really enjoyed that. Of course, you sit there and you wonder who these people are, because they didn't even mention the Dollmaker at first. So you're sitting there like, who are these people? And you're wondering, if you're me, you're wondering, are they working with Deacon Blackfire? That's always what happens with me. Doesn't matter what happens. You're like, Matt, it's Joker. He's standing right there. But is Joker working with the Deacon? Find out. Same bat time, same bat channel. But, and especially when you see them tied up, I'm like, it is the Deacon who has done this.
You are wrong.
Sadly I was wrong, but still, Dollmaker appearing is great, though, because, a lot of Batman villains, not a lot, but there are a decent amount of Batman villains that are old enough that they can be doing some crazy stuff, in this show. And they're not too out there. They're not too supernatural. They're just people who are pretty, like they fit in well with Gotham, but they also don't fit in with the idea of, Batman's going to run after you and chase after you. And, like some of the people like Joker or even the Riddler and some of the other ones. So, and even Penguin. Like, I like that he's in this, and he's, doing a lot, because you can see, at least I believe, that one day he'll become the Penguin that we know and love, because it's a lot easier when you're at the top to not be the guy stabbing everyone.
Exactly.
So with this Dollmaker thing, it's very interesting to just know that, he's the Dollmaker. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Dollmaker is a title that has been given to others?
I believe so. I believe there's been a few Dollmakers. Okay,
because I thought it was like the in my head I'm saying Toy Maker. No, Toy Man, Toy Maker, Toy Boy. The idea that, that title can be passed on as well. So it's interesting to not only think, which one are we going to see, but the idea of, it doesn't matter, in a way it matters, if we see the first one, if for some reason they go with my lovely idea, to one day kind of go, can we use this as a prequel series, right? And they can still use him in that prequel series as well, and nothing is off about that. Yes. So, of course, I love that. We have to say, and it's funny because I've written this so many times in my notes, I love Gordon so much.
Yeah.
He is done so well. And then the writer, whoever's writing him, also did him so well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whenever he's on the screen, there's just, okay, of course I enjoy Riddler. But I have to be honest, when I saw Enigma, for a split second, my brain said, that's Scarecrow. Only because of the interpretation from the Nolan films, but my head was like, Scarecrow. I was like, no, that's, But something about Gordon appearing makes me go, yeah, that's Gordon. Why would that not be?
Yeah.
Like anytime he does anything, I'm like, yep, that's what Gordon would do. And it's just, it's the thing. Gordon could just be like, yeah, I just had a coffee. Exactly, Gordon got coffee in the Batman Detective Comics number 129.5. 25 was the variant.
I mean, they brought the panel to life perfectly.
It was wonderful. But, everything he does, where it's just, he just sees a cop. And the cop's like, hey, I'm protecting these guys because they paid me to. And which, again, is bad, but in a way he's still doing his job. Like, I'm protecting these people. They paid me extra. Right? And then Gordon's just like, no, actually, you're pretty, I'm sure you're a great person, but you're a shitty cop. And right there, it was just like, wow. Like, again, Gordon just butting heads with everyone he wants, anyone he can for not helping people, because that's Gordon.
And I think my favorite thing about Ben McKenzie playing Gordon is that it's like a little thing, but every time he meets a new character, you notice that he does the exact same thing where he looks them up and down, head to toe, and just kind of analyzes them whenever he first talks to them with every single character he meets. Yeah.
Because, and it's even better because, they've already said that he's a war veteran.
Mm-hmm.
So it really lends for the character of, like a war veteran isn't going to walk into a room and just go, I accept everything as it is. No, you analyze. You can see that also played in Watson's character in the new series Sherlock, where, he has this, they both analyze the room, analyze the people, and things like that. So of course, him doing that is a great thing, both to the character given to him and as well as, as to Gordon, because Gordon doesn't just take everything the way it is. So it's really interesting that even people that are murderous vigilantes are like, but Gordon, you understand. Like, that's how good he is. It's just, people, it's like, but, Gordon, man. Like, everyone loves Gordon. That's the name of the new sitcom. Everyone loves Gordon.
Oh, God.
Harvey Bullock is Robert. Harvey Bullock just sit there, just everybody loves Gordon. That was a Bullock impression, not a Robert. Everybody loves Gordon. But, yeah, and of course, speaking of Bullock, right, his interactions with Gordon are amazing.
Absolutely.
Just whenever they do anything together, it's just beautiful.
Mhm.
I mean, it could just. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I hate to sound like a broken record because I say it pretty much any time we talk about the show, and I'm probably going to say it in every single one. But even with the great writing and everything like that, I do not think this show would be as good as it is without the cast, because I honestly have not seen this perfect of a cast in a comic book to TV adaptation.
I feel the same way. I mean, I don't think there are really any weak links. I think maybe the only weak link I feel, and I don't know if it's because you put it in my head or maybe it's just something that isn't really clicking with us completely, the character of Barbara.
Mhm.
But I would argue that, well,
yeah.
Where everyone else has their place and, in this story. And without them, maybe you'd have more time for others, but I feel like something else would unravel because of it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it feels perfect having them all here. And it feels like, it's so, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't feel like, oh, we have to write this story so that there's no episode without, let's say, Selena Kyle. No, it just feels like, well, Dollmaker wants children.
Exactly.
What are they going to do? Well, they're going to get a bus filled with children. Oh, what's the mayor going to do? Very, shitty political move. But at the same time, it does look like he's helping them. Brings them to basically a juvenile center. And then what happens? Well, again, Dollmaker wants children. So it really, again, it just really tied together very well. And then, of course, Selena Kyle not being this, oh, well, I mean, that sucks. No, the idea of, she's from the streets, and she's not going to be like, oh, God, I've been defeated or whatever. No, just, I'm going to be underneath this. I'm going to be underneath these seats, and then I will be out of here. And then someone will find me, but then they won't have eyes. And we'll get to that more later, but it's just beautiful. And then, of course, bringing up the cast, I mean, one of my favorite characters in this show. And it might change, when they show me more of the cast, like let's say more of Riddler. But I'm a huge fan of Penguin.
Yes, I was going to say, he is by far, like, my favorite as of right now.
Yeah, which is terrible because I think they want you to feel that way because, of course, we've heard the rumors that he might be he will be the big bad of this season. Mm-hmm. So, or at least setting it up for the next season, because, of course you put him on top, so the next season is when you're trying to, break him down. So, they're really making me love him. Everything he says, how he speaks, how he conducts himself. Like, I have to be honest, if some guy, in the back of my truck, right, we're saying, like, I'm gonna get back on my feet. Like one day I'll be good. You'd be like, oh, okay, dude. But with a guy like Penguin, right, even though he was in tattered clothes, a guy like Penguin using those big words, it's like, honestly, I'll be with you. Like whatever your business plans are, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you want to invest in. You seem like a guy who knows things.
Do you need a glass of water? Are you thirsty? Are you hungry? I will get you whatever you need. I just want a seat in your empire.
Basically, it reminds me of How I Met Your Mother when, and if you don't know the show, Barney, right, is with a lot of women, and he's a bad man for it. And then Marshall is with one woman, basically forever, because he loves her. And Barney said to him, "Oh, I'm gonna teach you everything, to know about picking up women." Mind you, did not even meet Marshall yet. Marshall says, "Who's this guy?" Barney says, "All right, how about this? See that hot redhead over there? Well, you know what? She's way out of your league. But how about you go? How about you try to pick her up?" And all of a sudden, I think it was Marshall who said that he could pick her up, and Barney's like, "Yeah, right." Barney not knowing that the hot redhead was Marshall's wife. Immediately, Marshall walks up to her, and makes out. And Barney's like, "Oh, that man is a god." And we learn later, Marshall says, "Barney followed me around for a week, asking me my secrets. I got him to get me a coffee." That is how I feel about Penguin. I would follow him around to learn his secrets, because that man, Falcone or Falcone, depending on your pronunciation, had it right. Like, Penguin is intelligent. He had to be killed because of snitchery. Like, that's obvious. Like, no, I have the key to eternal youth. But you snitch. That's a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you go die. But, the things that he said, it's like, Falcone knew. Like, Falcone knew. Like, he sat there and he was, because I will admit, it is a bit hard to say, trust the words of a dying man, because in theory, she's the one who sent him there. So, but at the same time, it's just probably, again, the way Penguin conducted himself was like, all right, this isn't some guy that's like, "I'll let you live, please let me live and I'll tell you information." No, it's just, listen, I'm going to die, but here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the keys. And it was just, and then of course we got to see that Falcone is a jerk, and it's nice to show that, because last episode he was looking a bit too much like I'm a good guy,
Mhm.
So it was nice to show that it's like, no, he can be an asshole too.
Yeah.
Mind you, in theory, it's based upon the fact that he was, turned on, and there's a chance that he could die. But still, the fact that it's like, instead of beating up you, I will beat up your lover in front of you. That hurts.
Yeah.
That's not right. Especially the fact that it's not like they're married or anything. Just, oh, who are you hooking up with now? That one. Do you care about him? I do not care about him at all. Great. Glad to hear it. Boys, kick his ass. That's just like, wow. Like, basically, that guy did nothing. Well, okay, he is working in this nightclub, but at the same time, when you look at Gotham, it's like, what place isn't owned by by someone?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, but how did you feel with the episode as a whole?
I thought it was really good. I agree with what you said, that it was a bit odd in the beginning. But, every single episode that I watch, I find myself always going back to the scenes with Penguin. Because I truly believe, as great a cast as it is overall, he is the scene stealer of the cast.
Oh, yeah.
Every single word he says you are drawn to. And just that whole sequence of him in the truck when he finally gets picked up, how they would, stop and go, and then when he finally gets in the truck and they share a beer, as soon as the guy's like, "Anyone ever tell you that when you walk like a penguin?" I'm like, dude, you're going to die. And sure enough, kills them both. And
what's even more interesting is that I thought he was going to kill them immediately, but it's actually kind of nice that there was a little bit of, oh, no, I'm just going to sit here and mind my own business and actually say, like, hey, listen, you guys are really nice. You were messing with me. Because I thought he's like, you messed with me. No, he's not crazy in that way. It's just that the penguin, is a word that sets him off because of childhood abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very interesting. It's the idea, if any of you listen to our Monday Night Raw podcast, and if you didn't, then I'll just explain this briefly. The idea that, a man who you look at him and you're like, oh, God, he's crazy. He said, I'm leaving my partner, John Cena, high and dry to go get a hot dog in Coney Island. Right? Mm-hmm. That happened, Anthony. Go watch that Raw. But anyway, so the idea that it's like, no, but the idea that Dean Ambrose, a man who everyone goes, oh, he's crazy, which, he is. But, he's not crazy. Like, he comes back, right, with the hot dog cart, stands there as John Cena, Fred's dad, according to frickin' Anthony. He's getting his ass kicked by three, guys. And Dean Ambrose, who has felt wronged by John Cena, stands there watching it happen with the hot dog. And the bad guys go, oh, Dean Ambrose is here, let's beat him up. And Dean says, well, I guess if you're coming to fight me, I guess I'll start to punch you. The idea that I'm not going to hurt you unless I've been messed with, it's really an interesting one. Where it's like, no, but that guy's crazy, of course you're going to kill him. No, he sat there, he said, my new friend, like, this is pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, about the penguin thing? And then one was killed. The other was taken hostage. We have a very perceptive farmer.
And we have a horrible mother.
Well, it's funny. I want to say that she's horrible and she's like the worst mother ever. But look at her son.
Still.
I know. Mind you, I'm not saying that I'm not saying, right, that because it could be the mother's fault that the son is that way in the first place. But the idea that I feel like, with the way her son is, and again, you can see it, it's the idea that, you're messing with me. You're John's friend, aren't you? Madam, I assure you that your son will be violently murdered. You're one of John's friends. Stop it, John's friend. Click. And it shows you, hey, guess what? Don't be an asshole. Maybe your mom will care about you and give you money. We'll give your kidnappers money. Don't be an asshole.
It's so weird that he was trying so hard to convince someone, I swear I will murder him. I will do it.
That's the thing. That's another thing, too, to his character, where it's just he's just too nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's thinking, I have to conduct this like I would conduct business. Where, really, you're supposed to start the phone call with, I have your son kidnapped. Which even then, that would also be kind of off to the mom. But it would still be like, oh, this sounds kind of gruff. Where he's just so pleasant with it. Where it's like, madam, I assure you, I have kidnapped your son. And if you don't give me the ransom money, I will mail you his eyes. So if you aren't going to give me the money, could you at least give me your address? No, ma'am.
But I just love that when she hangs up. He just looks at the kid. He's like, you must have been an awful scamp. It's like, what?
Yeah, basically, because it's so true. It's just the idea of just, wow. She thinks that this is, a joke to the point of just, wow, you fucked up. Like,
seriously.
Just, like, at this point, I even agree. Penguin was just like, listen, this isn't even on me right now. Like, you messed up here, dude. But anyway, to any of you comic book readers out there, first off, our This Week in Comics show is, at this point, in a weird sort of limbo, so we aren't continuing that as of right now, especially because of the fact that you look at some shows that are coming up like Flash and Arrow, and oh boy, that's a lot of
Dead and Constantine on the way.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff coming up. But anyway, so, but still, for any of you comic book readers out there, you know about Batman Eternal. And if you don't know about Batman Eternal, whether you're a comic book reader or that you're not, don't look into it. It's really bad. But, not really, but it's bad. But it's the idea that let's kind of look at Gotham as a whole, right, where Batman does have to solve a problem. The problem of who killed that man? And then, instead of Pikachu, it was Jim Gordon. And I was like, actually, no, it's not Jim Gordon. But is it? A lot of, weird stuff. It's like, is it Jim? Is it not Jim? We don't know, but we should know. And Batman trying to find out, who is the killer, which you think, oh, that's really cool. Not when the entire Bat family has to get involved. And then it's a weekly book, so you're paying about $3-4 a week. And then it's, it's going to be spread into 50 weeks, right? And mind you, 24 pages a comic book. So you can see how this can be like, oh, God, like, what do you know? And then it's like, oh, and then, this week I'm going to focus on Batman. This week we're focus on this person. And then this week we'll have just 2 pages of Batman. But this show feels like a really good version of Batman Eternal, where because it's a 45-minute program, they're really able to, put a lot of work into who gets shown. And I will admit, episode 2, in a way, did seem a bit Gordon-light, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But then it led into episode 3.
Yeah.
Which was, which obviously, Gordon was a major part of. So it worked really well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, something about Barbara, what she did, right, which is, I guess, nice because I think while I understand your idea from I remember Anthony mentioned the first podcast. He said, "Oh, she reminds me more of a mother." And mind you, we've only really seen her as a mother, so of course we can see her younger years and et cetera, et cetera. But it's really interesting that she's just so outgoing. I feel in a way that it's just like it's just like you should call them, Jim. I cannot. I just did. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, Barbara, you just got Jim killed. Like, basically. Thanks, Barb. Because in real life, if not Jim, then yourself. Because in real life, right? I know it's like, oh, but it's a TV show about a comic book. Yeah, but they're pretty real in that show, minus weather balloon people. But they're pretty serious in that show. So the idea of it's like, hey Jim, did your girl called it in? Yeah, she did. Awesome, yeah. You're not really part of the loop anymore, so you're not really in anymore. So this bullet will be in you, though. Like, it's just like, Barbara, you've just gotten everyone you've loved killed. I hope you're happy. So, yeah. So that's a huge issue, I feel, where it's just, Barbara, you're going to, it's really weird, where, I feel like it's just actually, Barbara was the name of his ex-girlfriend, his real, and it's just like, wait, what? Like, we look into comic book lore even more than we know already. It's like, wait a minute, we missed that line. Oh, God, this bitch dies.
I was actually surprised by this.
And I use that as a very gender-neutral term, not as a, anyone can be a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the idea, by the way, but speaking of the show itself, right, Bruce, who, by the way, we both love.
Right? Absolutely.
Bruce is apparently so fucking metal. Bruce is sitting there with his headphones in, drawing shit, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, and then, of course, we have Alfred, right, who Alfred is just like, it's like, oh, he's been, what is it, he's been, cutting himself, and I was just like, Bruce, like, where are we going here, Bruce? Like, in other words, basically, like, he's so dark. And I'm like, Bruce? But, oh, by the way, so we have taken Julia out of continuity.
I'm sorry?
Alfred's daughter is named Julia, correct?
Oh, yeah, Julia Pennyworth.
Yes, we've taken her out of continuity.
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, yes, Alfred has a daughter, Julia. She doesn't seem that much younger than Bruce.
Mm.
So, and the idea that, you would assume that he had this daughter before he got into the butlering business.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, arguably, he could have been traveling with Bruce. You know what I mean? For all I know, he could have been traveling with Bruce and, just been with the lady. But for some reason I felt as if it was before his true butlering came to light, where he started working with the Waynes. So it's kind of interesting that, it's like, oh, I've never been a father before. And it's like, and it seems like he knows who Julia is, not like it was just like I never even knew you existed. So it's interesting. I mean, we'll see where this series goes. I mean, there's no real reason to mention her, honestly, but it's the idea of just, we're comic book people.
I mean, I have to admit, I actually didn't catch that.
Oh,
that's why, when you mentioned it, I was like, well, I don't understand the question. Then I was like, oh my God, I missed that line.
Well, I only brought it up based on the fact that again, we've been doing shows on Eternal, so she's become a bigger part of Eternal. So for me, I'm just like, oh, right, she exists. Yeah. I never even really thought about her before Eternal, sadly. So it's just like, right, she exists. She's a person. She's in the universe. But, so anyway, okay. So is it just me, or were you very surprised about the whole, the corrections bus was first off, I thought they were bought by the doll makers people.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I was very shocked, and I was just like, wait a minute, they stole them all? Are you sure? I was like, Mayor, I thought you were an asshole. I was very shocked. It was just like, oh no, the mayor is just as confused as everyone else is, because it felt so perfect.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I thought that was going to be at the end of the episode. Were you also shocked as well that you look at the clock and you go, wait, this is halfway?
Yeah, it's just the episode itself. I'm like, so are we gonna we're gonna get a cliffhanger? We're gonna definitely get a cliffhanger. I was like, oh, 8:30. Oh, we still have a half hour.
Yeah, it shows how much, stuff you can get done in the episode. Because, and of course, again, the mayor being it's weird, because it's like, there are some people, you see, that even though that they're bad, it's like the pictures try to be painted that, listen, they're bad in the sense that they get money, but they're not as bad as these schmucks, pointing to vigilante types or pointing to, pointing to people like Dollmaker. Where it's like, listen, they're bad. Like, okay, like you look at even looking at what like Falcone and wow, I can't Fishburne. Wow, where's my brain going? Fish Mooney. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you to myself. Thank you to my head. Lawrence Fishburne, who's Falcone, but seriously. So Fish Mooney and then Falcone, the things that they're doing to each other, while being bad, like bad stuff, right, in theory aren't as bad as they could have been, which is weird. Like, the idea that I think thus far, right, other than Penguin, we've been shown that no one's actually killed anyone. Of course, other than, of course, again, the threat to Penguin, which is supposed to happen, and the threat to Gordon and to Bullock. No one's killed anyone. Like, it's very, I'm not saying that, it's minor. Like, oh, well, it's fine, they were just mugged. But the idea that, Falcone got the guy beaten up. Then the lady that he was seeing only got mugged. Like, no murder, no anything else that's really bad, like horrible. I mean, the horrible stuff that could have been done. And no, it was just murder, not just murder. It was nothing. It was just, in a way, just a mugging, which in theory didn't even take. It was like, oh, she got into an accident, which I will admit does imply that maybe there's a bit more punching involved, like to her face, let's say. But at the same time, like, which again would be terrible. But we all know it could have been a lot worse. So it's very strange how, the first murder that I think we see on screen, correct me if I'm wrong, the first real murder that we see from someone, is a guy who's calling himself a vigilante. Yeah.
I mean, apart from the
which is right, of course, apart from the Wayne murders, right? Which we don't know what's that about just yet. And of course, that's more, and of course, the Balloon Man, which is his name, Balloon Man, is more in episode 3. But it's just the idea that you think you're like, oh, the mayor's in on it, and he's trying to get all these children killed because they're going off to this facility anyway. And then the mayor's just like, no, what's going on here? And I was confused. Yeah. And then, of course, bringing up Selena, we talked about how we talked about, I'm Canadian. We talked about how she, was very resourceful and everything. And all of a sudden, it's just, guy comes out with no eyes, which is a great, a great thing that I love in many of the shows that we've done, podcast-wise, like Gravity Falls and Steven Universe, where an idea is thrown at you, and then you just nod and then go on with it. And then it comes back, and you're like, "Wow."
Yeah.
So you look at Selena. The idea that on the bus she said to that kid, "Oh, hey, if you ever get in a fight with someone, go for their eyes." And you're like, "Oh, that's cute. Like that's something that Selena would do." And then she did.
An interesting attack.
Yeah. At least, and of course I love the idea, which, you wonder if it was in the script or if it was, on the spot, the idea of, oh, don't worry, we'll get you to the doctor. Just stay right here. What was that sound? Nothing. Just, wait a second. It was really funny and just felt so natural. But, and of course, they didn't catch the Dollmaker. So that's some good stuff for later. Hey, but Gordon knows. No way. Gordon knows everything. Yeah, right? And then of course, episode 3 appears. Yeah, just brings up on you. Oh damn! Hey, whoa, episode 3, what you doing? And and again, now he gets to the Balloon Man. How do you feel about the Balloon Man?
It's strange because when I first heard
Doctor?
this was, I'm sorry?
Doctor
Oh,
Strange? Paging?
oh, no. But, like, when I first heard Balloon Man, I was like, that's, I wasn't really sure how to feel about the concept. But when I saw it in the episode itself, I'm like, you know what? This show can pretty much make anything work, can it? Because by the end of the episode, I was like, this isn't bad.
Yeah, there was a lot that couldn't have worked, but what they did was, and mind you, I'm a man, it's funny, because I'm a man who is okay with silly. I love silly. I watch tokusatsu, which, will have some really cool action sequences, but then we'll have, toys, like they'll be wielding, guns that are basically toys, from that they're selling to the kids. So, like, I'm okay with silly. Believe you me. Believe you me. But, the idea of this Balloon Man, something in my head was like, wouldn't the hand be chopped off or the leg? Because, I mean, even if it's just a nice rope holding on to you, doing it for that long, I mean, like, something's going to happen. Like, you can't just be hanging up there.
Yeah,
unless
and
you were like...
them were by the leg, wouldn't the blood just go right to your head?
And that's what I'm saying. There was a lot that I was, so in a way it felt, and again, mind you, I'm okay with silly. I would be okay with Mixelpix appearing right now and just being like, well, hey, Bruce, you're going to be Batman one day. And then all of a sudden just Batman appearing. Don't tell him who he's going to be. I want to be a fan of him when he's older, So I would be okay with that, strangely, I think. But I was, but the idea of Balloon Man was weird until we got to hear his ideals.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I am sold, but it's really funny. Again, I'm sold, but I do want to sit there because I don't think anyone did it. And I just, and I'm the kind of guy who enjoys a bit of tongue in cheek, but I still wanted, I would have written it in there, I can't believe what you've done. You've done a great service to this city. But why balloons? I mean, like everyone's trading guns. So why balloons? But yeah.
I mean,
so there was.
It could have been a lot worse, I think.
Oh no, it could have been a lot worse. And again, his ideals, jumping to that because sadly we're running a bit out of time. Not too much, but we're getting to the end. His ideals of, I'm doing this to clean up this city, there's so much corruption, it's really a Batman thing to do, which is kind of, interesting. But then all of a sudden, of course, Bruce realizing that the problem is that he kills people, which is such a nice thing where he can literally get behind this guy completely. But it's kind of like we all felt with Light Yagami from Death Note, where, at least to me, even though it did involve death, I feel, but in the beginning it was very black and white, where the idea of, oh, I'm killing criminals. I mean, yeah, they're criminals. I will make sure that crime will, go down. Yeah, it will, Light, and I will be the god of this new world. Whoa! You had me there? I will pass judgment. All right, you had me there, Light? And then we kind of veered off a bit here, right? So the same idea of, for Bruce, where it's just, Bruce looks at this guy, it's like, I will clean up the city, I will make sure that, no more crimes will be committed, and the people will pay for their sin. And Bruce is like, yeah, I'm with you, and they will die for it. And Bruce is like, no, you're a criminal.
Mm.
And it's really nice to kind of have that instilled in him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have two notes, and they are in a row, and one says, oh dear, they think Gordon really killed Penguin. Oh dear, someone found Penguin. Just one after, because it's true. It's like the guy just like, hey, wait a minute, I know who you are. No, you don't. Yeah, you're the guy that was supposed to be dead. Wait, no, that was you.
You are mistaken.
No, I still the idea of, wait, no, that was you. Killed him. I'm pretty sure you're the guy that was supposed to be dead. I'm happy we found you. Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously though, yeah, and of course, the idea that they think that Gordon really killed Penguin is crazy, because Gordon, all he thought was, I'm saving this guy's life. Not, people will think that I killed him. And in a way, I'll never have any proof that I didn't kill him.
Yeah.
If they get to the point where we found out that you were there that day, at that time, there with Harvey, there's no way of him saying, okay, well, actually, I didn't kill him. I just pretend shot him and threw him into the water. We cool? Right? Like, no, we're pretty not cool here, Jim. So, yeah. And, oh, by the way, bringing up Bruce, right? The idea of him having the pictures of his parents was a brilliant one. Because, again, it's like they add new details, but a good thing about the cast, a good thing about the writing is that sometimes, usually most of the time, it feels so much like that character, what that character would do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how did you feel about that, Bruce and then the pictures?
I actually loved it. Because it's going to sound odd, but I was hoping something like that was going to happen at some point in the season. And to have it happen so early on, I think is a great move, because we can only go, the more, how do I put this? The fact that they did it so early on sets up for a lot of stuff that we can see Bruce do throughout the season. And when he even said, I haven't found any clues yet, I'm kind of hoping that in the next few episodes, at least a few before the season ends, we get to see him do, if anybody read Court of Owls and Night of Owls in the New 52, there's a sequence where Bruce Wayne is talking about how he knew of the rhyme of the Court of Owls when he was a kid, and something to that extent, and he went looking for his parents' killers as a kid. So I'm hoping we see something along those lines, because, before I read that story, I would have been like, well, Bruce, obviously, he was a kid. He wouldn't do anything, and after reading that, it's like, I want to see Bruce go on adventures at this age.
Yes, no, until you remember that or read it, you think, no, this show should just be about Gordon, which, I still understand, and I still can even feel that way, where it's just like, oh, keep it about Gordon. But then it can only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
Where this, I'm not saying it should last like 8 seasons, but in theory, you could work with a good 3 seasons if you're filming back-to-back.
Exactly.
You really could. Mind you, I said on the show before, I want to do, one season here, maybe one season, maybe a bit in the future, nothing crazy in the future, and then a third basically be, hey, guess what, we're doing year 1. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so, yeah, I love what they did with Bruce, and I'm really starting to grow, to love Alfred. Like he's really growing on me. Because, again, the first episode and the beginning of the second episode really just tried to make me think, hey, this guy's very abrasive.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I'm sure that was their point. Like, let's try and get them to be like Alfred. Either that or they think, haha, Alfred is funny because, how sassy he is. But then you just really let him grow on you. And you're like, wow, I do enjoy Alfred. I can see why Alfred has the job, And also the fact that it's hard for him because because he was only a butler up to this point. Like, he would take orders, not give them, unless they were Bruce's father's orders, or just standard butler stuff where it's like, hey, chin up, put on this suit, whatever, you have to look nice. You guys are going out to dinner. Oh, here's your food. Nothing like, so your parents are dead, right? Nothing up to that level.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand, and I assume you also enjoy Alfred a lot more than you did at first.
Definitely a lot more. Like, I actually enjoyed the whole scene of him and Bruce, fencing in the house. And I love the way that scene actually played into Alfred discovering the GCPD files. And he's just like, how did you get these? And Bruce is like, it wasn't hard. It's like, okay, we're moving into the detective category.
Yeah.
He's like,
it's
are you
really
a detective
cool.
now, are you? He goes, he's like, do you find any clues? Not yet, but when I will be a detective.
My God, yeah, it's just beautiful. A lot of these lines and these scenes are again, beautiful. And also, by the way, I might have mentioned this earlier, though my memory is slipping, so I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the air or to you personally. But I have said this a part of this on the air before, usually on This Week in Comics show, where I hate the idea, right, of making every villain in Gotham like a killer, where some of them just feel like, they can, like, let's say the Riddler, right? What the New 52 has done to the Riddler, I'm not a big fan of, because the Riddler doesn't have to be a guy who basically brings about the genocide of Gothamites, He can just be a guy who maybe, likes to make riddles, and if bombs go off, fair enough, but not genocide of Gotham, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So you look at Penguin, right? And I used to be in this camp of, I just think that Penguin should be doing shady stuff, where other people do the killing for him. right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he's just making money and he's a fat cat, trying to, like, you look at Earth One, trying to be like the mayor, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. That's very Penguin-esque. But now, I have to admit, seeing him younger, right, trying to build himself up, it does make sense that he's just trying to kill, really to survive, guess what? He kills one of them, but he actually keeps the other one hostage and tries to get money to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to the point where he said, I want a job. And then, sorry, you don't even have the right shoes. Who the hell do you think you are? And then kills the guy for his shoes.
I was so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, to get the job. And then, sorry, you go.
No, that was what I was going to just say, like that whole scene.
Yeah, and then as fate would have it, right? Mob guys are in the restaurant, which is funny because to me, I was worried. I was like, is he thinking like, oh, are they going to recognize me? But then it turned into opportunity. I was like, oh, God, he's going to kill them all. And then we learn later, right? Not, oh, he's going to kill them all. He can work with them because they don't know him personally.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different side of town's mob. So, because obviously the different, parts of the mob are working different, parts of the town. So in theory, Penguin could still have an in with Maroney.
Yes.
Or sorry, Maroney.
Maroney.
So, which, by the way, hello, guy from Dexter. Hello, Angel. How's it going?
I was like, wait a minute, Angel? Because it took me a while, because without the mustache, I'm not going to lie, it took me a minute to recognize him.
Oh, I've seen him without the mustache. I forgot where. It was just his voice that made me go, hi, how you doing? So, yeah, how did you feel? You said you really loved that scene.
I love that whole scene because, again, it's just an example of how the cast can just propel everything. Because there's just the dialogue between, I don't know the actor's name that plays Angel, and the guy that plays Penguin just flowed naturally. Just the part where he's like, I need the money to take care of my mother. He goes, a boy who loves his mother. And then they just keep going from there to the point where he goes, here's the money. And he gives him a big tip. And he goes, now go take care of your mom. I was like, it just flowed perfectly in my opinion.
Oh, and the idea of no one should be doing stuff like that to priests. At least, in public. And I was like, damn it. But, no, there was a lot of good in that scene, I feel, from both of them, from the fact that, again, it's like, does any of that mean anything to you? I'm sorry, I actually didn't hear it. And it's like, you son of, of course you heard it, but, I mean, you're playing coy, so good for you. You're a good kid. Because, and it was very interesting. I'm a huge fan of what can come from the two of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what was it? And also, speaking of scenes with two people in them, a Bullock and Gordon trying to catch this guy, right? And what ends up happening is they end up seeing a female bodybuilder, who, by the way, so happy they hired one because this scene worked just because of that. Who was just like, Jim Gordon, don't worry, I got this. Harvey, well, I do not. The fact that he was going to be killed by a TV, I was sitting there in a mixture of, laughing hysterically and going, oh, my God. Please, no. Oh, man, it was a beautiful scene. And it's funny how I keep on using that word, but it's so true. There were a lot of things that you just have to say that they're beautiful in this, yeah. And another scene with two people in it, right? Barbara and Montoya.
Looks like we were both right on that front.
Yes, if you didn't hear our episode 1 preview, any new listeners, or if you have and you just don't remember because it was 2 weeks ago, the fact that I was going for, I think it implies a lesbian relationship, and feeling bad because it's like I don't want it to be like, yeah, Matt, of course you're going to go for lesbians, you know what I mean? It's like, no, something felt, again, they had more to it, where, it's just and, again, it's just it just really felt like, two people were talking, regardless of gender or anything, just two people were talking as if they had been lovers before.
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring up, it sounded like drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's weird, where it's just, again, I'm sorry. What's weird is the fact that they didn't go for one or the other. It was like, let's just do both and throw them off. I would be, if I didn't know how the process of filming worked, I would be convinced that they just saw what we said, and they were like, we have a couple days. Let's refilm everything. Fuck those guys. Yeah, fuck those guys. I'm not going to lie. If any celebrity ever said, fuck those guys, that would be our opening for about a good month. Not in general, just specifically to us. Like, they just hear what we said about them. Like the actress for Barbara was like, weak link, fuck those guys. That's our clip for every Gotham show.
Oh, my God.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be fine with it.
Oh, I'd love it.
So, yeah, I'd be cool. But, so yeah, and of course, so today we're both right, which again is interesting because they can go a lot, from this, because it's not like it's, again, it's not one or the other, it's both. So, Jim doesn't, it's not, Jim learns, it's just like, oh, well, I mean, you were with a woman at one point, that's not bad at all, like, I mean, that just happens, like anyone could, whatever, right? And that's just one secret. Weeks later, different episodes later, it's like, oh, and by the way, I was a drug addict. Like, whoa! That's the one you bring up first. The other one means nothing in our time. But, it's really funny, where it's just like, in a way, where they've just given her two aces, in a way, like two storyline plots, and just been like, let's just put them into one. And, And of course, I will admit, I do want to know more about Montoya and her because, again, I can understand they used to be together. Now they're not. I can understand. I helped you through your drug problem. It's interesting where it's like, so did you help her through her drug problem while you were together? Like, is that how it worked? Or, were you on drugs as well? Or, or were you clean and then you figured out she wasn't one day? Or, you're saying, there's a lot to it, I think, that's nice, too, where there's a lot to explore there as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing I'm a bit worried about with having Montoya in the show is I'm really hoping they don't, provided this show goes on to, become Smallville and we end up with, 10 seasons, I'm really hoping she doesn't become the question on the show because that should not happen this early on at all.
Right. I understand. I mean, I don't think that would happen. It's weird. They probably wouldn't do that, but maybe there's a chance they'll hint at it, because you know how these shows are. But I will say, if there's 10 seasons, arguably, they could do 10 years. That would be what I would do, where maybe after season 2, just go, each and every one is a year later. Because the characters, the cast, is going to grow, larger. So in theory, you can have the kid who started off as Bruce Wayne, become Batman. In theory. But again, we'll see where that goes. I hope it doesn't become Smallville. I've heard great things about Smallville. I've heard bad things about Smallville. What matters to me, because I haven't seen the entirety of Smallville. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, my one of my friends, Lewis, if he's listening.
No need.
Sorry.
You don't need to apologize.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's the idea that, it's like, well, I haven't finished it, but I just don't want it to become Smallville. If they're going to do something, I would rather it be because I'm just not a big fan of long-running shows. Like, look at Supernatural, right, which may be starting up the Supernatural podcast again because the season just started, I believe, tonight. So we might start them up again. Yeah, tonight at 9. Thank you. So, actually, when our episode ends, you could go watch The Flash on CW.
Yeah.
Well, Eastern time. You can go watch The Flash. But anyway, so the idea of I still like shorter shows where Supernatural, bringing it up, while I'm not saying I hate it now, but it really, if it had ended around season 3 or even season 5 or 6, I think there would have been a bit it would have been a lot different. Even we brought up How I Met Your Mother, right? If the show had ended maybe again season 5, 6, at the most 6 years, I guess, which is a lot. It would be different compared to where it did end, and then what happened, and why we're all sad. And not sad in a good way, just sad in a very disappointed, you've done us wrong kind of way. So I'm just a bigger fan of, trying to end things when they're short and sweet. You know, the difference between something like, you know, again, Supernatural, where it is a bit right now, How I Met Your Mother, you know, and shows, you know, in Smallville, from what I've heard, compared to, you know, if you know wrestling, the Shield breakup. You know, they broke up at when they're at their highest. If you are a fan of Death Note, you realize that it was only 8 graphic novels long. I'm sorry, 8, not wow, 8, but stupid, 12. You know, which again is a lot shorter compared to other graphic novel series. The TV show was 37 episodes long, still short compared to about close to 300 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. So, you know, again, when things are shorter, I will admit they have less of a chance to keep on, you know, run on and then start to lose your interest, and then, you know, it's just, because another terrible thing would be, what if somewhere during the show, because, you know, for ratings or whatever, they start to, you know, tease, like, Montoya and Barbara becoming a thing again, like Bruce and Barbara break up. You know, you sit there and you go, they're going to get together. You know Batgirl exists. You know, so that's the thing. Like, I think at 3 seasons, it would be a nice balance for everything to just end, you know, and be fun. And if they want to continue it into a Batman show, believe me, I'm fine with that. But if they don't, I'm fine with that too. Because as of right now, which is great, 3 years down the line, Gotham was terrible. You heard it from those guys. But as of right now, Gotham is doing pretty well by me. Yeah. So before we have to go, how did you feel about the end, where Penguin just shows his ass up?
I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to say it was predictable, because I knew it was going to happen at some point. I figured at some point he was going to show up at Jim's door. But it honestly did catch me off guard that he was at Jim's door this early on, to the point where I was like, oh my God, Penguin.
Yeah, you know.
Why?
That's how I felt. Yeah, thank you. I was like, no, Penguin, no, go away, no. Because, yeah, I feel like this show, you know, mirroring Gravity Falls in a way, where Gravity Falls is only 6 episodes into the second season, which, again, you can hear our episodes on, you know, our podcast archives, those guys on the radio.tumblr.com. And the idea that, you know, they've also progressed relatively quickly, where they could have taken a lot of their plot development and spread it into half of the season. But right now we're only on episode 6 that just aired last night and will air this Friday. So, you know, it's very, very, very interesting. Very interesting that, you know, we're doing this now of all time, because you know, you think like, wow, I believe you said it's going to be 16 episodes for the season.
16 episodes, yes.
Yeah. So with apparently, as we've heard at the start, no mid-season break. So we're getting 16 straight episodes, maybe, you know, minus like, let's say, a week or two. You know, sometimes they do like a week skip or something. We're going to get 16 straight episodes. And as of right now, we've had the Penguin already show up in the city again and show himself to Gordon, where you would argue that could happen, let's say, out of 16 episodes, episode 8, you know, in other shows. So, I mean, all I'll say is, wow.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, it's good. Yeah, that's the thing. Where we are right now, we're in a very, very, very good place.
Absolutely.
I would say. So, anything you want to say before we have to go?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Actually, yes, you do. We have to talk about your website.
We have not covered everything.
You forgot about your own website. So tell everyone what you do and give out quickly, because of course you have to end this soon, but tell everyone what you do and tell them your web addresses.
Okay, basically what I do is I make custom figures. I can do repaints. I can also do kit bashes. Kit bashes essentially are if you want a particular figure but you need 2 or 3 different figures to make it, I can take them apart and put them back together in the order that you need them. You can check out pictures of them at my Instagram, which is Geek4Life blog, the number 4, Geek4Life blog. You can also check out my blog, which is where I do reviews on movies, anything pop culture, and even figures. And the web address for that is figuresandgeeks.blogspot.com.
Okay. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have our podcast archive where we've done, WWE shows, Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, How I Met Your Mother, Gotham as well, and a whole bunch of other cool shows. Oh, Bleach movies, Dragon Ball Z movies, and a whole bunch of other really, really, really cool stuff that you can find on thoseguysonthe.radio.tumblr.com, where, we post our shows as well. Our Twitter, Those Guys Radio, where we post our shows as well, and funny cat pictures. Our Gmail, thoseguysonthe.radio.gmail.com. Well, thoseguysonthe.radio@gmail.com, where you can talk to us about any products that you want us to promote on your show. And thank you guys for listening in. Good night.